Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're gonna take a look at my legend run for season 18 of the Global Battle League in the Jungle Cup. And we're going to have a team here that is hilarious because we don't have any Vigoroth and we have in general a lot of Pokemon that are a little bit lower ranked. The only real meta Pokemon here is Quagsire. The rest of this team you barely see in this league at all. And so we're gonna take a look today at Shadow Magnezone, Shadow Quagsire, and the Decidueye in the Jungle Cup. And I kinda want to set a statement here with it as well, of course, as we just kinda want to showcase that this cup is also playable without a Vigoroth, without all the hard meta Pokemon like Altaria, Skarmory, or whatever. Of course, you can consider, I guess the Quagsire is a little bit of meta, but you might find even something spicy to replace that. But anyway, if you enjoy this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel, would really appreciate it. We're going to have a little bit of a longer one today because I'm going to have in every single battle that I did with this team, so we can talk a little bit about matchups and talk about why the Decidueye is so great. Basically, before I did those battles with this team, I did encounter maybe 2 Decidueyes total in all the battles I did in this cup, which is like way more than 100 or something, so basically nobody was using it. When I did those battles, I encountered weird teams, and we're gonna talk about this now as well. Basically, a lot of times, like I still had like some normal ones here as well, where like something like a lantern or whatever, but like I had so many super weird teams all of a sudden that you're going to see as well, of course, in today's video, which I was completely surprised about and was like, okay, why do people run this? For example, here we're going to have all of a sudden this Decidueye as well against us, something that I did not expect at all, because like nobody was running it against me ever before, but, or like, maybe like once, but still we're going to be able to get to another charge move here with Quagsire. Honestly, Quagsire is such a god in this cup. Like, if you have one, I would really recommend it to you. If you have a normal Magnezone, I would recommend it to you over the Shadow variant. I just had the normal one built. Shadow is kinda unnecessary in this meta, I would say. I feel like the normal variant does basically the same job, but a little bit better. But also, if you don't want to run Magnezone itself, you can run Steelix instead. Steelix would also help you out with it. Basically, what you want in the lead a Pokemon that can deal with Mantine. Steelix not as great for it. And the Skarmory, Steelix is also not as great for it, because like your Pokemon in the back, the Decidueye, is supposed to be your sweeper, and you kind of want to have something that deals with it. My idea was, I was encountering so many Skarmory double water ground teams, all of a sudden I want to say, but like it's actually, I did a video about it as well, most likely afterwards, a lot of people also were using it, but basically, I was encountering quite often, and so I kind of wanted to go ahead and try to counter it while we get a crucial defense drop here from our Spirit Shackle to win the game for us with the Frenzy Plant. Good game there, but we can move on to the next opponent. Basically, yeah, this is kind of what I wanted to do here anyway. I just want to try to counter those Mantine and whatever. But here we're encountering a Steelix in the lead. Steelix in the lead can be a little bit tricky. This is basically the only occasion where I would go into the Decidueye instead. You could even argue if you would encounter something super weird, like an Excadrill in the lead, which like nobody should ever run. You might also want to go into the Decidueye, basically every ground as well as Steel-type Pokemon. It does make sense because your best answer for those going to be your Quagsire. So here we're going to be able to go for the full farm down, but I'm still stuck in this matchup. Mistake by me, I shall wait it out a little bit longer. But at least I'm going to be able to get a ton of energy just to get hardwalled by another Decidueye. I was like, what is happening here right now? So I guess maybe this also does make sense for them. What is going on with the Decidueye? Like, honestly, this was a thing as well. You saw my video just prior. You barely saw this Pokemon at all. I think I did like one video where I saw like one of them, but like nobody was running Decidueye, and all of a sudden everybody has this Pokemon. And like I was like thinking, oh, I'm so special running Decidueye now, but apparently everybody in like 3000 ELO range has this Pokemon, but not everybody is running Spirit Shackle, because this opponent was a madman and went for the Brave Bird for whatever reason. So congrats to you, you definitely caught me off guard with that one. I did not expect this one at all, but this also might be allowing us to farm them all the way down, which is gonna get us a ton of energy. And we know already that we can do something great against the Skarmory already with our Pokemon, but I did not expect a Clodsire in the back. And so we got farmed down here, which is so bad because all the energy went down the drain. But honestly, even if we went for it, it didn't really matter. Here, you saw me letting the Earthquake go through. Why did I do this? Because a Brave Bird from a Skarmory would be way more scary than the Earthquake from the Clodsire. But as you can see here, we were in a very tough spot, but because Quagsire is such an MVP here, we're going to be able to just go ahead and go for the Awkward Tail again and knock them out before they go for a charge move. And we just have to hit 2 Awkward Tails because we're the Shadow variant against the opponent's Clodsire to say goodbye to them. And we do exactly this, as we can get another one off. Easy knockout here. here. Like, I think the Awkward Tail does around like 40%, but the fast move does some damage as well. And so we can win with a 1 HP and a dream. Here you can also see why the Magnezone is such a cool Pokemon, because also against those Dragon and Flying type Pokemon, this thing has actually a lot of play. So, like, honestly, I don't think I saw a single person run Magnezone so far against me, at least I can't remember. And I was like only seeing 1 or 2 person playing the Decidueye prior, so that's kind of fun. But here we're gonna see why Decidueye is actually so cool and why Leafage is actually great for this meta. You don't only have the option to completely farm down any Mudboy, which are quite common right now, you're also going to have the option to destroy the opponent's Vigoroth. And here, what we also see is they doing a mistake here by going for the Body Slam over the Rock Slide. I know Rock Slide doesn't knock us out either, but this is going to allow us to get a ton of energy, and this energy can come in clutch, especially as they're going to go back into their own Dragonite now. If they want to survive, they have to use a shield, and I'm totally fine with that, because if you remember, I have some energy still stored on my Magnezone, so we can say goodbye to the opponent, go for the safe play to go for the Wild Charge, also so that they don't get as much farm. Maybe a like, I don't know, I don't think the Mirror Shot would have done enough. But we can swap into our Decidueye, use a shield here. I don't even want to reveal my final Pokemon, because you know what we can do here? We can go for a big Frenzy Plant, and this is going to do a ton of damage to take the KO against the opponent, and we can move on to the next one. Next one coming up, Horrible Lead for us. We want to swap out immediately into our Quagsire. Why Quagsire is a swap? Exactly for this matchup as well. Because here you can basically deny the disadvantage you have from swapping out by going for the Awkward Tail immediately. And also, you can flip this matchup quite easily in the 2-shield scenario, which is also really important for you, because here, as you're gonna see, a Mudshot is going to do enough damage after this charge move going to land. Okay, yeah, it didn't land, but I can still go for another charge move basically, and I'm going to have a great time with that. But also, as you can see here, the opponent mostly going to opt to go for another shield, I want to say, but they decide to swap out into the Whimsicott, which is also totally fine, because look at this, we're going to have a Steel-type Pokemon here. This is one of the matchups where I would really want to have the normal variant, because yeah, Moonblast is going to do a ton of damage. It's not going to knock us out, but as you can see here, it's going to put us into the red health. And so we're going to still end our up here with another Charge Move stored, which is going to be great. As the opponent goes down, they can go into their Vigoroth, but I hope they use a shield, because it would be great for us, but they don't. And so we have to hope there's something in the back that we can deal with, and no, it is not. It's a Talonflame, or both Talonflame answers are gone, so we are forced to use the Forfeit button. Speaking of forcing to use a forfeit button here, I don't know, the Dewpider is going to have a great time here, but we can move on to the next opponent immediately. Another Vigoroth. Another Vigoroth means another swap out here. Accidentally got another fast move in with our lead there, which is okay though, because we can still go for an Awkward Tail. This is going to actually allow us to go for an easy knockout with a secondary Awkward Tail as well, which is kind of great, but sadly the opponent got 2 free fast moves, which is going to allow them to see Peter here, which I don't want. But if they're going to use a shield against me as well, I would outspeed them to the next charge move, which will be definitely good if they use a shield here, but let's take a look. They decide to use a shield, so they fell right into my trap, right? They're wrong, because they were able to catch the move on Whimsicott, and this team kinda seems kinda familiar, I feel like. I don't know, maybe at least I think I saw this team somewhere before. It's exactly the team that we had, I think, like 2 battles ago. So, it's very likely at this point that there's going to be a Pokemon called Talonflame in the back. And so, I think we're going to be having a little bit of a tough time here. Not too sure about it, but let's find out together. The opponent's going to swap out into their other Pokemon, which is going to be, again, the Vigoroth, which is totally okay for me. What I can go for is, I can go for another fast move maybe. No, I'm gonna go straight for the Mirror Shot, which is going to connect, is going to be able to knock them out. And can I still reach a move? I cannot. Hello, Talonflame. I maybe still have a chance if I can. No, never mind, there's no chance really. I would need to see Peter on this move, try to, like even then, like there's no chance of winning this game. It is just sadly a hard loss when you encounter this team, but I think I encountered it twice, and so I was fine losing those 2 battles. But it was like so weird to encounter this. I've never seen this team before. But we're going to have a great lead here and an interesting say swap where, okay, I don't think I made a mistake. I decided to swap out here into my good friend the Quagsire. I could have also chosen to go into my other Pokemon there, in my Decidueye, which would have a super effective fast move, but also Shadow Ball would be super effective against me, so I'm not too sure if this was smart if I would have done that. But here, the opponent got an attack drop against me with the Scorching Sands, which is kinda unfortunate, because now we do less damage, what a surprise. But at least we can still outspeed them all the time, because we only need 4 fast moves to get to 1 Awkward here. And they need like, I don't know, like I think 2 more fast moves for their charge moves, so we're definitely going to be able to win this matchup itself. But let's see what the opponent's going to do. They decide to go ahead and swap out into an Altaria. Interesting, I would say. So, I'm gonna swap out into my Magnezone, and I'm going to do nothing. Nothing at all. I wait until they're going to throw, because I know they were not in range yet for a wild charge. But what this also allows us to do is to go for the most insane sweep here of them all, because we can go for a wild charge, knock them out. Let's see what's coming in. Is it going to be the Pedal Sand? Is it going to be the Manta? And we're going to act accordingly. It's going to be the Pedal Sand, so we can go for another charge move, say goodbye to that Pedal Sand, and we can go for 2 more fast moves as we double resist the fast move from the Mantine and say see you later to that Mantine as well, as Magnezone takes the entire team down, and we can move on to the next opponent. And again, I was kind of stunned by this Pokemon. Like, I've seen Gustlord before, but I would say, like, out of, like, 100 battles, I maybe encountered, like, 3 Gustlords, and encountering a Tia's ball with that team was like, why? My team is so weak against this thing, it's kind of annoying, but we still have a chance here. We still have a chance, depending on what they have in the back. I can go for a Wild Charge, I can do a ton of damage, I can swap out. Now they're going to be an awkward tail in range, and I guess it's going to be fine, but I did not expect at least what they're going to do now, because they're going to be most likely using no shield here, as we can knock out the Gustlord, hopefully. Yes, we will. But they're going to have in the back, let's take a look at this. This is not a Skarmory, it's going to be a Celesteela. And at this point, I could already think about what they could have in the back if they have a Gustlord and a Celesteela to Ultra Beast. Might be another Ultra Beast lurking in the back, who knows about that, but interesting team there. At this point, like, this was already after I hit Legend, I tried to actually make Celesteela work as well for me. It did not work, like, it was so bad for me, so maybe I'm gonna give it a try again, but maybe in a different kind of scenario as well, because it just was not really it for me. Here we're going to see the Body Slam going to come through, which is going to be able to do no damage against me. But there is something sad going on soon, as we can't try to just take the energy from the opponent. I can go for the Spirit Shackle, which hopefully going to get a defense drop onto them, which we will not be able to see here, but they're going to have a Buzzwole in the back, and I make a crucial mistake. I don't know why I did this, but I did it. And so here, what we're going to see is that the opponent is going to go for a charge move. It is going to be the lunge from the opponent, which is going to guarantee the drop of our attack, which means they can survive this move. And I make a weird mistake here, because I could have went for the full farm down on my Decidueye and I would have won with this, basically, but I didn't. And so the opponent can farm them down, you still get to a move here and win the game because of this. If I just stayed in, I would have won this one. So this was on me, could have won this, even though this was a very horrible matchup for me, but yeah, I failed it. Which of course is a little bit annoying in like those scenarios where I close to Legend, but it is what it is. Moving on, trying to improve for the next battle, we're going to encounter a Sableye in the lead. Interesting Pokemon, didn't really see this Pokemon too often either, but what we can do is we can get a shield from them, and now we outspeed them to the next charge move, which is going to be great, as we can go for the Wild Charge, and this Wild Charge is either going to connect and get the knockout, or going to get the final shield, and so the opponent is shields down. What this means is, if I get to another Wild Charge, someone gonna get knocked out for sure with that, or if I get to a Frenzy Plant, it's going to be great as well. You know what's also great? When the opponent swaps into a Skarmory against me, because now I'm going to be able to get rid of the biggest threat, basically most likely for my Decidueye in the back. And so we can go for another Awkward Tail. This is going to connect. It is going to get them fairly low, and we can go for another one. Does it get the knockout is the question here. Do we get the knockout? We do get the knockout. And so Quagsire shows again why this thing is so deadly, especially if you have a little bit of extra energy on it. And we gotta see here the Vigoroth trying its best to knock me out, but not before we can hit them with another charge move, which means as well we most likely going to be able to farm them down with our own Decidueye, or get them very low in general, that we might be even able to do something with our Pokemon in the back, the Magnezone. And here my opponent threw away the game. If they went for the full farm down, then most likely would have won this game, because I don't think I would have got to another charge move, but like this, I can go for a Spirit Shackle, say goodbye to the opponent there, and of course Vigoroth counter is not going to really cut it here. They have to go for 2 Body Stamps, but not before I can reach a Frenzy Plant, and so this is going to be it for this one. Good game there, and we can move on to the next opponent. We're basically just battling Legends here, and this was like kind of where I was like, wow, why? I should have went most likely into my own Decidueye as well at this point, but like I am using one of the rarest Pokemon that I've seen so far in this cup in the lead with Magnezone, and encountering an Excadrill is kinda mad. Like, I was like, this happens, by the way, for me, like, basically all the time when I'm really close to Legend. I always encounter, like, those super weird teams. Like, of course, this is something that people are running. I actually know this person as well, like, one of the best players in the world, by the way. I think he won, like, 2 regionals already or something like this in the US, like, one of the best players, so it is mad, though, to encounter exactly those Pokemon when you are running something like this. But they are going to make a mistake here by swapping to the Quagsire. We still have a chance, even though we're 2 shields down, because we can go for the full farm down. Stone Edge coming through, it's not going to cut it, but they can still reach another charge move. But I'm going to try to deny it here with my own Spirit Shackle. They're going to let this move go through. This game is still not over, even though they have an Excadrill still lurking for me. I can knock out the Mantine, and now it's down to the Excadrill. Can we get the drop here of the defense? It would be great for us. Let's see. We're going to be able to get the Spirit Shackle off. We don't get the drop here, but also the issue is that they can farm me down, and maybe I could have swapped after this one, but no, never mind. I could have not, because we went down there anyway. We got the defense drop now, but they have 2 charge moves stored. So for them, it's an easy play, going for 2 drill runs and knock me out. Very unfortunate, because they have so much energy stored here. Would have been great if our Decidueye still survived one move, but it is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent, and let's see what they're going to do here. Dragonite in the lead. Going to be very playable for us. Again, like, I would recommend you to go for the Mirror Shot, but they decided to swap out into a Lantern, and that's great, because especially if we got the attack drop here, which we do, we can just get up our energy again, which we used prior, and swap out into our Decidueye. And because we know what they have in the lead, I rather have like 100 energy on this Pokemon than try to keep my health on this Pokemon. So what we do is we're just gonna go for the full farm down. I don't care what they want to do here. Go for your Thunderbolt. I don't care. I get up to 100 energy with my Decidueye. We're going to have 2 Spirit Shackles loaded up for that Dragonite, forcing the first shield from them, but they're gonna go for their own charge move, and I am totally happy about this, as I can let this move go through. We can swap out again, but they swap out into a Whiscash. This is not ideal, but honestly, this wild charge damage is kinda nice, because this allows us to put them into range where an Awkward here can be very good for us. As we can see here, they're going to use their final shield. I still have 2 shields, now 1 only, but if they don't get the debuff here, which we have to hope for, 50% chance, no, they get the debuff. If they didn't get the debuff, we could have just easily went for 1 Awkward here and farm them down, but like this, they are going to be able to survive this with a little bit too much health for my own good here, as they're gonna go for another move, as we can still outspeed them to the Stone Edge. Is going to be amazing, as we can now go for another Awkward here afterwards, and the opponent has nowhere to go. Awkward here going to connect, or the opponent is going to forfeit anyway, and we can move on to the second to last battle for today. So again, if you're still watching at this point, feel free to subscribe to this channel and leave a like. I would really appreciate it. You're kinda MVPs for this. Like, usually I don't do like those longer videos. If you like those longer videos, if this video is going to be getting a lot of nice reviews, I might actually do some more longer videos. I'm just always too scared for this, because YouTube is kinda weird about those longer videos, but hopefully this is going to work out well for you. Here we're going to see another matchup against the Vigoroth. Again, Shadow Quagsire, one of the coolest Pokemon for this matchup. We see them swapping out into a Lickitung. I was like, that's mad. Lickitung is also something they have never really seen, but of course we have a Decidueye in the back. This is not great for us. So we're forced to go into our Magnezone. Magnezone, we have to overfarm by a little bit. Sad thing here is that they went for the Body Slam. I wish they would be going for the Power Whip, which does more damage. But like this, we are not going to go up to 2 Wild Charges, because we just don't have basically the time for that. But they're going to have in the back a Pokemon that I don't understand. Like, honestly, like, they're triple weak to counter. In a meta where Vigoroth is like one of the best Pokemon, that is kind of wild. Like, honestly, like, I encountered so many wild teams here up in the higher elo range. It's just kind of mad. We still try our best, because we were able to catch a move here. It's going to be a crunch, which we called, which is amazing, but we still have to try to go for a bait here. Spirit Shackle is coming through. And here, maybe I still had a chance if I called this bait, because this is going to be most likely a Psychic Fang, so I still have to go for 2 charge moves. But I didn't call it, and so they can still... I actually could have went for the Frenzy Plant. That is annoying. I could have went for the Frenzy Plant. I think I still would have lost though, but it is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent. Next one coming through. Great lead for us. It's going to be the final battle here. In comes a Lantern, even better for us. Here, if we're going to connect this Wild Charge, swap into Quagsire. If we don't connect it, swap into Decidueye, depending on what we're going to do here. We're going to not connect it, so we go into Decidueye, because Wild Charge should have not knocked them out at this range, but you would have been easily able to farm down with Mudshot. But like this, we're going to just have a better matchup with the Decidueye anyway, and otherwise I would just keep the Decidueye in the back. But like this, we're going to have a great matchup for us here ahead, as we can go for a Spirit Shackle to knock them out while still keeping another charge move, while having a shield advantage, while having switch advantage. Everything goes like our plan. In comes the Skarmory, and we could actually decide to swap out here if we wanted to, because we have 2 good Pokemon against it, but sadly Switch Talk wasn't up yet, and so I was forced to stay in this matchup for a little bit. But now it's going to be Quagsire against the Vigoroth, and again, as said before in a battle, the extra damage from the Volt Switch is going to be great, because it's going to put them into perfect range for 2 Aqua Tails. They're going to be enough to knock out the opponent's Vigoroth, while we're going to use a Shield. And they're definitely going to use a shield as well, but there is not a lot that they can do. The only thing that they might be able to do is swap into the Skarmory afterwards, but it does not help them at all, because here it's going to be a CMP tie. I know they'll still survive this, and now it's going to be Skarmory against our Magnezone. But even if they're going to be able to swap into the Skarmory before I would have landed this charge move, I would have been able to farm the Skarmory down and would have got to a Wild Charge against the Vigoroth to win this game no matter what. But yeah, this is the team that got me to Legend this season, so definitely something interesting if you want to play something spicier. Here you can see it. Was able to hit this one. So thanks all for watching. Really appreciate the support during this season. You're awesome, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.